Hey guys, it's Greg. Just a little disclaimer, there's a particular section of this video that was written while War Thunder was in patch 1.35, and at the time I had no idea about the new progression system that was going to be implemented in 1.37. I had no idea that it was even a thing until the developer diary for it came out. So there's a particular section of this video that goes over tiering information and it's out of date, but it holds no pertinent relevance to the actual function of the plane. I figured I would explain myself here anyway, just to clear up any confusion. All that being said, enjoy the video. Thanks. Experienced, well-equipped, and more tactically inclined, the German Luftwaffe quickly did away with the ill-prepared Soviet Air Force at the beginning of Operation Barbarossa in 1941. Initially, the Soviet Union had done what it could with equipment given to them via the Lend-Lease program, but there was many an ambitious Russian engineer determined to give their pilots better equipment to combat the technologically superior Germans. One of them, a man by the name of Alexander Yakovlev, founded his own design bureau and would go on to create the most iconic Russian fighters of World War II, the Yak series of planes. Several models of these nimble machines would be created throughout the course of the war. They were all held in high regard by the men who flew them and in great deference by its German opponents. By 1944, the Third Reich was on its last legs, and the arrival of the Yak-3 would give any pilot of the Luftwaffe still trying to maintain air superiority on the Eastern Front a formidable challenge. Hi, my name is Greg, and in this video, I'm going to give an overview of the Yak-3 in War Thunder. The Yak-3 is a single-seated, single-engine fighter available for purchase in the Russian tech tree at Tier 10. It's the fifth plane in the Yakovlev fighter line out of 7 of the prop-driven aircraft. The only other variant of the Yak-3 in the game is the Yak-3P, available for purchase a tier later, equipped with better armament than the previous, 3 20mm cannons rather than 1. As of the release tree, there are no plans of adding more models of the Yak-3 to the game. Overall, the plane functions in a manner similar to most of the Russian fighters in the game, as a low-altitude skirmisher, with good maneuvering characteristics and a powerful set of weaponry. The Yak is a very well-rounded aircraft. Its characteristics are middle of the road in most counts. It can outmaneuver a Zero, but it's faster, and can beat it in energy maneuvers. It can't beat a 109 in dives and climbs, but it can run circles around it in turning fights. This ability to do a little bit of everything is only of any real use if the pilot has enough knowledge of his opponent. But this isn't as much of a daunting task as it may seem. In many ways, the Yak-3 is a very forgiving plane to fly because more often than not, its pilot will have a strong point against its opponent. Its 20mm cannon is also reasonably powerful in its own right, so it can tackle tougher planes when the need arises. Again, the plane's strength lies in versatility. However, there is one scenario where the Yak-3 may encounter issues. Most Russian engines didn't perform terribly well at high altitudes, and this characteristic is reflected in-game. When you get past around 16,000 feet, the Yak gets very hungry for thrust. Unfortunately, high altitude is also the native environment of the Yak's most fierce rival, the Bf-109. This is the Yak's only true weakness. A smart 109 pilot will generally get the Yak to bleed energy, presenting an easy target for him. In order to fight these kinds of opponents, it's very important to drag them down to lower altitude, and use sharp maneuvers to keep the energy fighter from getting a clear shot. With a little patience, the Yak can turn the tables in these kinds of scenarios and give the German a nasty surprise, maybe even a blow to his self-esteem, too. Like any smart pilot, the Yak flyer won't let anyone abuse his own weaknesses. Instead, he'll drag his opponent down to his level. In conclusion, the Yak-3 is the archetype of the Russian fighter. Nimble and versatile, this plane can do wonders with the right pilot at the controls. Still, its stellar flight characteristics are only really achieved at low altitude, and when flying against the fearsome German fighters, this can pose an issue. Its main gun, while powerful, is limited in ammo capacity as well. Getting the most out of this plane requires some forethought on the part of the pilot and a steady hand. A smart Yak flyer will use the weaknesses of his enemy's machine against him. If done right, the rest will fall into place. The Yak planes get an undeserved amount of criticism and neglect, but it is still a great plane in its own right. Know your enemy, capitalize on his weaknesses, and make every shot count. Thanks for watching. There will be more videos like this in the future, so I shamelessly encourage you to subscribe if you liked what you saw. If you have any questions for me, send me an email. My address is on the screen, greg.havener, that's Havener, not Havener, at gmail.com. I read all my emails, period. So, at the end of the week, I'll answer them in a Q&A video. Until then, straighten up, fly right, and once again, thanks for watching.